see you. It has absolutely been a while, and I appreciate you always returning and coming back and looking out for these collective readings as we heal as a collective. So today we're going to do a twin flame reading. It's been a while since we've done one, but God is just up my little yin and yang about it because it's just transitions right now within the 2-2 portal. The 22 portal. So what we're going to do is I'm going to shuffle one more time here. And then we're going to pull, and we're going to actually not really pull, but we're going to look for the Chariot card inside of the deck. And God is telling me the way that He wants me to approach it is wherever this Chariot card is, it is going to be the center pillar of these twin flames in the collective right now. And this collective message will be reflecting the right will be the masculine and the left will be the feminine. And we will be able to see what is exactly going on in this twin flames Merkaba of you and your twin flame together. Now, I'm going to do this for the collective right now, but if you would like your very own, we can do this for 1111 sent to Cashapp or Venmo, and we will be able to send a file to you directly, and we will shuffle in your honor and your twin flame ship, and we will look for the Chariot card, and you and your divine feminine and masculine aspects can be personally looked at. So feel free to claim your spot, and I will be happy to do one of these for you. So let's get started. Jesus Christ, thank you so much for being here and giving us the protection as we move forward to see this beautiful holy insight that you place. So I'm going to shuffle these one more time. We're going to look for that Chariot. We're going to put them down towards the left and the right here, and we're really going to dissect and take a look as to what is going on with the collective's Merkaba. What are these frequencies coming in? What is it that needs to come out as within, so without, right? Okay, here we go. We're going to start looking for the Chariot card here. I love it so much. There's just this feeling coming over. It's kind of like this warmth, but it's just, I don't know if I want to accept it. Maybe it's just this impending motion that's supposed to come in, like this sense of incoming structure, incoming framework. There's the Chariot right there. Okay, so here's the Chariot, and we're going to take those 2 and 3 behind and around. So in our masculine energy here, we see the 9 of Wands. The Chariot's there in that center pillar, and then the feminine here, we see 3 of Pentacles with the star also back here. Isn't that neat? Both of these powers have to conjoin together in the Chariot in order to elevate upwards to become the star within a cycle of 10, right? 2 fish and 5 loaves. How beautiful, Lord. Okay, so back to this here. We see this 9 of Wands, this 3 of Pentacles. But do you see how there's fire on earth? There's motion towards that brand new beginning that we were sensing, of this impending motion of coming inward. There's going to be a new way to operate these oxen as this yoke takes over and balances both sides here of these pillars within this holy trinity of 3. We do see a major difference here, though, in the collective between the divine feminine and the divine masculine. However, this is exactly what gematria would tell us, is that this feminine energy has to awaken and heal within in order to provide that nature while it nurtures towards the masculine here. And we don't see an Ace of Wands, we see a 9 of Wands. So we don't see the royalty either. So the king and the queen and the prince and princess are hanging around back here. But this soul, this masculine side here, is just so stuck in his own ways. He keeps devising his own self because of that 9. If we're looking at prime numbers here, we're going to start with that 1, 3, where's the 5, here's the 7, and the 9. So we're stuck between this 5 and hierophantly, how am I going to act? Because how this masculine is acting right now is not going to benefit this union. He continually, or whoever the divine masculine is within the female male body. However, I'm very much getting divine masculine is in a male figure, male vessel, male chariot, male flesh scientific test tube. And there's so much overthinking here. There's so much anxiety, so much distress, so much falsely surrounding him that it doesn't look like he's just able to stand there and be confident on his own. This person goes inward and feels that every single one of these little wands is only just surrounding them. And that's why this energy has to come in, because with devising the nine out, it is able to divide itself and reproduce more. So all we see that this masculine is doing is just reproducing more of his own shit. But the chariot is understanding of that. And that is why the feminine we see over here, she's divided it 7 times. She's taking on more of that 10 cycle in order to separate and divide that 9 to the 3. Where the 7 is, right on the backside, is the 6. So this feminine knows that she has had to take on all of these works, all of these different avenues, these approaches. Okay, this didn't work in the Old Testament, so now I need to provide it to the New Testament. So what I am capable of doing, what I contribute to the chariot here, the Merkaba, can also help my divine masculine. The divine feminine has a lot of grace here. Well, there's a lot of mercy on this side. The chariot is still very strong as it's bound to the feminine here. In Psalm 119 too, which is the Gematrian alphanumerical code for all the Hebraic letters, but it's also how energy is based here. And chariot is going to reflect back in Psalm 119 as the het. And the het is this way that the energy can be held strongly like a hug, and being able to be held securely, stably, as this energy, as this chariot, as this car, as this vehicle, as this Merkaba moves with these celestial speeds in order to reproduce more of itself, to reproduce more of itself, to shine bright, to be of its own nature and nurture, up in its own sky. How beautiful. We also see Psalm 119, the het is the most maturing energy. If we look at these ancient textures and translations, we also see the chet, which is going to be a C in front of that H, which is the youngest energy. So if we're mirroring the pillars here, we're going to see that the het is going to be in the feminine side of the cell structure here, and the chet is the masculine. The inner boy is going to be learning all the new, all the new ways that God wants him to provide, all the new ways that he needs to think and act, but he needs to be able to go deeper within here to be able to bounce out and refract to the other side here. If we see that 9, it is this major arcana of Hermit, isn't it? So we see that 7, we see that 9, here's that 3, there's that Empress. So this masculine is really stemming from this position that we can't see. In that position, because we can't see it, it's normally because we're standing in the center of it, is that 5. This feminine has already considered her Hierophant energies, which in Psalm 119 is the Vav. It is the nail. It is the way that the judge is going to pound down that gavel and say, this is how I'm going to operate my body. These are my morals, my ethics, my codes. She has already had these revolutionizing aspects to her quantum leaps of faith here, but the masculine still has yet to move forward, when really it's just allowing himself to divide himself from what doesn't make him peaceful. Start that Ace of Wands and move towards that generations of swords and cups and pentacles. Fire on earth here too. We see where this air and water is hiding in between, and that's going to be a 2 and a 3. But isn't that a 5? So there's really this opportunity for the masculine here, knowing that he's not doing what he's supposed to be doing because he's surrounding himself with false ideologies. We see that 2 and that 3 making that 5, but we also see that 2 and that 3 making that 6, which is going to be this divine feminine energy. Another thing that I want to say is if we see this 3 in the Empress, that 4 and that 5 is where the Emperor is standing at. The Lover's position is completely here between the 3 and the 9. We've already confirmed that. Now we have the Chariot. We need the major 8 and the major 9 to reroute all of this back. And 8 is going to be that strength card. The Hierophant is going to take that strength and utilize it together in order to produce more of itself. In Psalm 119, that is going to be the Tet, and it is the snake eye. It is the serpent in the basket. It is the way that this gentleman here can be tempted by his own snakeskin, his own ego, and not help him thrive back to his chariot, his own Merkaba, to be able to conjoin with hers. If this can conjoin, this 5D aspect will have to be here before it can go to the 3D and the 4D. Now, with this snake around, if this infinite strength can come, he is going to be able to move back to that lovers, move back to drive his car towards his center heart chakra. Otherwise, it's just going to reroute him back to that nine, where he continues devising himself out by that hermit energy. So we can see where he's really primally being reconstructed by God and the universe here. I mean, look at all the stars and this space here to begin with. But with this nine and this, it's like Jesus, this Christ consciousness is going to appear out of nowhere and really make this work together. Within these messages too, as I've been talking in the background, I also see how the masculine is, how do I get out of this? How can I make forward movement towards the feminine? You know, there's been past motions where she's tried to come back and make this work, and he's just been too caught up in everything else surrounding him, thinking that he knows best, when really he doesn't here. Let's conjoin these cards, and I'm going to pull one or two more here. Let's fill in this 2 and the 3. Let's fill in the 2 and the 3, because if the divine masculine must be willing to surrender, and as Luke 12:49 states, God, you don't bring us the peace, we bring it to ourselves within Christ and accepting Christ, because God only brings us the division. He brings us the knowledge and the wisdom, the power and the perception to see what we need to divide ourselves from in order to make us peaceful. However, in that scripture is also my law here in the kingdom of Luke 12:49, where he speaks about there's 5 in one family, that there's 2 against 3 and 3 against 2 at all times. So in order for this to come back into union and start thriving and living, this masculine has to start living in his own air and water before he can provide that safety and security of all other elements to this feminine. So, Lord, what's blocking this chariot from moving forward within the divine masculine's air and water? Let's see, air and water here. Look at this, the moon. There's a couple cards here, but the moon, we already talked about the space here, the openness of the universe. The moon, too, is going to be 2 nines, and we've already seen the hermit here. So this divine masculine is being forced to hermit himself, being forced to go in and see what's in the dark, see what's hidden between his 2 towers, because he knows that what's here is what he's eventually going to have to offer to his own feminine. There's a lot of mama drama here as well. His own mom's conditioning has made it so this conditioning doesn't work so well within his own self. So then what this divine masculine has been able to be conditioned and taught himself is what he tries to give this twin flame here, which they know they're supposed to be together. But if this is how the masculine is operating, do you think the feminine can be feeling as feminine as possible? She's not going to be as secure. She's not going to feel as safe. There's not going to be the ability to evolve the love, only to evolve the fear, which is hiding here. Let's see. We also see that 9, which is 2 hermits. So then we also have, excuse me, which is 2 moons. Well, 2 moons, 1 hermit, 2 hermits, 4 hermits. Does it really ever end? But we're just going to keep it at the face value here. So if we're looking from this moon to the hermit, we're also going to see the positive and the negatives to every major arcana. So this divine masculine is really going to be going through his dark night of the soul if he hasn't been already. And maybe he doesn't recognize that, but I feel that the feminine does, because she's headstrong. She's working on her flesh. She has all of her potential. She is in charge and in control, and she is directing her own mathematics here to keep her completely in charge of her own potentials. Okay, what's behind the moon here? Let's see. Oh my God, King of Pentacles? Yeah, because this guy, this divine masculine, he continues to keep himself down in his own tropic of Capricorn. He can't rise up within unless he's able to go into the air, go into the water, and see why it's even devastated in the first place. Because he knows too that he cannot go back to his own Queen of Pentacles acting like this. There's also a lot of wands here because of all these sexual consequences. And if he is in another karmic relationship right now, he knows that he is not with the woman that's supposed to be here. If we're going to talk about the moon card and this Tropic of Cancer, we're going to see this Queen of Cups alongside this High Priestess, which is just on the back side of that Empress card, would it not be? So when we see the moon, when we see the High Priestess, when we see Empress all together, it's because there's another woman. Inside of this divine masculine, there's a other woman inside of him that's not benefiting this twin flame reunion at all. His own woman is not only the karmic, but it's also his victim. So he really needs to understand how his own emotional hurt has betrayed himself first in order to betray the feminine, because she's already got the mathematics down and she sees why things have happened the way that they have. There's one more card behind here, and then we're going to catch the bottom of the deck. Are you ready? Let's see what's stopping this. Let's see what's hiding deep within this king. All he uses is self-harm tactics to cope. He's regressing a lot of things down that he has to start dealing with. So feminine, keep this in mind. You don't want him right now because he cannot make your oxen and your yoke move the way that God has intended. Let's see here. Oh my gosh, Six of Pentacles? Yeah. Look at, we see that 3, the 6, and the 9. It's absolutely confirmed. And what's hard too is that this feminine knows that this King of Pentacles was only breadcrumbing her essentially because he only knows how to breadcrumb himself. And if you want breadcrumbing back in your life, then you're also treating yourself the way that he treats himself, Divine Femme. So stop yourself from those breadcrumbs. You don't want them anyway. You want the whole loaf, the 5 loaves, and the 2 fish. Okay, bottom of the deck here, and then we're going to wrap it up. Oh my God, shut up. 4 of Pentacles. See, I can't even make this up. I can't. 3, 4, and the 6 within the King and the Divine Masculine. You guys, we talked about him being stuck in the big 5. He's in presently that 5 of Pentacles position. He knows what he did wrong, and now he's just trying to find a way to get out of it. He knows he's being led to. He knows he has to. This isn't going to work for him anymore. So if he wants all of the loaves too, which he is being called because the Chariot is in a polarizing position, he is going to have to come back to himself, gain that security, gain that stability within his own air and water, within his flesh, to gain control, to provide safety and security to the feminine. One more card. 5 of Wands. Shut up. See, 5 of Wands, 9 of Wands. There's that 4 of Wands that needs to be regulated. That nervous system and that temperance energy is on its way to be regulated. And we do see that 5 once again confirming for, yeah, see y'all. Ace of Cups. This is, I hear, this is the Divine Masculine's wish fulfillment. This is what would center him. A new heart to love, a new chance, a new opportunity. This Divine Masculine very much doesn't think or believe that this can happen again because of what has happened. But the feminine and all of her work is boosting him to change those false belief systems from that tower. And the Lovers, shut up, I told you. Lovers and Temperance, that nervous system, which is 14, right? And if we're going to see that 14, it's that 2 fish, the masculine fish and the feminine fish coming together to be balanced on land and water and earth and sand and air. This is where the 3 apexes of the Lovers all meet: sky, land, and water, masculine and feminine. But if we reroute this 14 back to its very beginning, this is still Hierophant. And there's that Justice. He wants a brand new start because he knows that this twin flame relationship did not have the justice from the very beginning. And that's where there is a lot of guilt and grief here as well. One last card. 5 of Cups. Shut up. See? We just keep getting 5s. There's that Ace of Wands, 8 of Swords, 10 of Swords, and 8 of Wands. Look at it. It's a lot of passion. High Priestess there. 8 of Pentacles and the Star. Yeah. A lot of passion. How am I going to move forward? I can no longer think like this, but I continue to think of her. He continues to think of you. Look at this. All he wants to do is make communications. All he wants to do is make communications to the star in his life. Princess of Cups. See, I can't make it up. And 3 of Cups. Quit the karmic relationship first. And there's that Strength card. We talked about it. We talked about it. Alrighty, so Divine Femmes and Divine Masculines, if you would like your own personal twin flame dissection of your pillars, just let me know. It's 11/11, and I will keep this up for the rest of the week. I love you, and God loves you more than me. Wounds into light.